Right. London has the TFL, while we have the BFL. It's Benjamin Francis Leftwich. How you doing?
I'm good, thanks, brother. I've never had that introduction before, but I like it. It's a good one. It's original. Thank you. I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. Thank you. Yeah, I came up with that today. The last time we actually met was it was in Portsmouth, and it was ages ago now. It was at Pie and Vinyl. We did an install there, which was insanely beautiful.
Thank
Like
you.
that was I can't even remember how long ago that was now because time doesn't hasn't existed the last 18 months. It's just one big blur.
I wonder when it was. February, January 2019, maybe. I remember the pie there. I think Dirty Hit had their own pie there for a while.
Best part of the gig was pie.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, I'm a veggie, so my options are limited, but I always have like I think it's like feta and red pepper, that kind of
Yeah.
Turkish kind of leaning flavors, maybe Turkish, Middle Eastern
I love
stuff.
the way it's been 10 seconds. We're already into pies. It's a good start.
It's an important subject.
Yeah. So it has been an interesting time the last 18 months or so. But obviously, you've managed to write and record an album, and we've got the brand new album out at the moment, To Carry a Whale, which again, I mean, I say this about all your albums and every time I meet you, but it's just a beautiful album. It's astonishing to listen to.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I feel really proud of this album, and I feel that me and Sam, who produced it, really left no stone unturned. So I'm really pleased that you and others have that reaction to it.
Yeah, there's. I mean, I was going to save this for later in the interview, but there's a line in full color which there's certain when I'm listening to certain songs, there'll be a line that I just hook onto, and
Me too.
straight away it's the I've always been a run hide kind of guy.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely love that line because it kind of sums me up 100%.
Me too. Me too. Yeah, just always never quite been willing to face up until quite recently. Never quite been willing to face my own stuff. I'll look anywhere else and blame anything else other than the stuff inside me.
Yeah, no, I'm very much the same, and I think that's why. Well, I think that kind of a lot of your lyrics are there's always a personal connection. I know with music, people take that in a different way, but yeah, that line really is stuck with me from the very first moment I heard it. I was like, yeah, it's made me reflect on a few things as well. Yeah, like I said, it just sums me up to a T.
And God bless you.
Yeah. So I did want to do just some quick fire questions just to get things started off. So just the first thing that comes to your head. There's only 8 of them, so let's get through them quite quickly. So, what was the last album you listened to from start to finish? And you can't class your own one.
Casey Musgrave's Golden Hour.
Good. Right. What are you currently reading, if anything?
A book called Unbroken, an audio book called Unbroken about a soldier called Louis Zamperini who survived various crazy stories, including shark attacks and captivity.
Oh, that sounds cool. Uh, the artist you are most looking forward to new music from?
Holly Humberston.
Oh, very good choice. The Walls Are Way Too Thin is an exceptional song. And then obviously Vanilla before that was just, yeah, she is incredible.
Incredible artist.
Yeah. What was the last TV series that you binged?
Nashville.
Okay, I've not seen that one.
Really good. If you'd like to check it out, it's really good.
What's it
Amazon
about?
Prime. The country music scene in Nashville. It's acted, so it's like a drama, but
Yeah.
the country music scene and record labels and artists and recovery and there's loads of great songs in it. It's a
Okay.
wonderful TV
I'll
show.
give that one. I'll give that one a look. Also, what was? Well, actually, what's the next gig you have lined up as a fan? So not as a performer. What have you got in the diary already?
Not nothing as it stands.
Ah, have you got? You
Well,
obviously.
I was gonna go and see Get Cape, Where Cape Fly open for James and Feeder and Maximo Park because he's Sam Getcape is one of my close friends. He produced the album, but I think that gig's been postponed now.
Yeah, I mean, today there's been more festivals cancelled. It's just, I thought we were past that point now of just the postponed or cancelled. I thought we were actually getting to that point, but obviously not quite there yet.
God willing, soon.
Yeah, well, yeah, hopefully very soon. Do you have a hidden talent? I mean, it's very hidden if you don't know.
Um, I used to be No, I used to be pretty good at tennis when I was like 13. I was like almost semi-professional, like county LTA rated,
Yeah,
growing in my LTA rating standard. But when I was about 13, I rediscovered the guitar and the tennis racket went into the
into the bin.
cupboard. Not the bin, but went into the cupboard. Got it.
So this actually might be this next question as well. What was the first career you dreamed of as a kid?
Being a movie director.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I remember watching a film called Empire of the Sun when I was about 6 years old, and I didn't know what was going on, but it was so emotionally intense and beautiful, and it was about a kid who was separated from his parents, and that's something I kind of went through in a more less intense and more subtle way than that film portrays. But the soundtrack, there's a piece of music at the end of it called Gan, which is a Welsh lullaby, and when that came on at the end of the movie, I was just destroyed. So I was like, I want to be able to make myself feel the way that thing that I've just seen has just made me
Yeah.
feel.
Well, this is quite good because the very last question, the quick fire, is what is your favorite film?
Empire of the Sun. I'm sorry, I know that's a lazy answer, but it's the honest one. Empire of the Sun. A film called Do you know the film Into the Wild? The true story about that guy who went off into the forest to try and live by. He gave away all his worldly possessions and went into the wilderness to live by himself. It didn't end well, but I wouldn't say it's my favorite film. But Empire of the Sun's my favorite film. But I remember watching that film as a 16-year-old when I was at school, and it was so inspiring. I think subconsciously that film inspired me. Might have been the point of difference between me having uh, a career in music and not.
Yeah. So you mentioned obviously the this track at the end of the film was kind of what kind of brought it all together. So you see what you wanted to go into film, like directing. Did it ever occur to you that it was the music that kind of made you want to go into it because it was the track that kind of hooked you in?
Later on, yeah, and I'm quite I get quite impatient. I think I have like light ADHD, and I kind of get but the shine of stuff wears off for me pretty quickly. So like the form of songwriting is like 3 minutes, 4 minutes,
Yeah.
few paragraphs on a sheet of paper. I can work within that, and even that I can get bored of stuff quickly. But that I feel like that form kind of works well with the limitations that I have in my mind. And I have big respect for movie directors and videographers and photographers and friends of mine who do that. But I don't have the patience for that.
No. So you've not ever considered like directing your own videos then?
No, I mean it's funny you say that. I think a lot of artists when they're young, when they first get signed and have video budgets and start making music videos and stuff, like to kind of convince themselves that they know that they're video directors. But I remember one video shoot that I made on did on my first album, and I made the mistake of getting involved in it, and I ruined the video shoot. I'm not going to tell you which song as the song came out, but it was. I remember having a pretty frank conversation with Jamie, who runs Dirty Hit, about my missteps that day. I think it's important for artists to have opinion. You know, some artists are great at that, no doubt, but I'm not. And I think it's great for artists to have opinions, to be able to say yes or no, but the seed of it, I've got to leave it with video directors pitching ideas and then me being like, okay, that's cool. And if I want to change a little bit and I'm friends with the director, which I often am, then yes, there can be a conversation, but I'm not a music video director. I write songs and I have to remember that sometimes, you know.
Leave it to the professionals.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yes, obviously we've got the new album out now. Um, I've got a kind of theory as to why I think it's called To Carry a Whale, but what was your reasoning behind the album title?
I was playing on the piano at my ex-girlfriend's house in Liverpool at a family home. It was like an old beaten up piano. It was really out of tune, but it was beautiful, soulful sounding piano. I wish I'd had a microphone with me that night because the way it sounded was I never got it to sound that good again. And I had this riff and I ended up using the riff with another artist, but I remember writing the name To Carry a Whale into my phone that night, probably midway through 2019. I was like, wow, that's so beautiful, but I don't know what it's about. And it quickly became apparent to me that it was about living with something that is heavy and more powerful than I am, and that needs attention, caring for, and keeping an eye on one day at a time, because if I don't, it will squash me. So it's about living with heavy things.
Yeah,
What was your theory?
that was it was kind of that because it kind of hooked into that the line I've always been a run high kind of guy. It's about keeping that internal monologue and not kind of dealing with it. And the burden, obviously, a whale, if you're carrying that around, is quite a weight on your shoulders.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, and I know Cherry and Tacoma was one of the singles, and it's there's a part of it, the songwriting, which is very you, and it's something that I love that you do, which is a lot of acoustic acts just stick to quite slow paces and let the songs build that way. But Cherry and Tacoma, and you've got a couple of other songs like it. The beat behind it is actually really quick. Like,
Yeah, yeah, it's got a bounce to it. Yeah,
yeah,
um, I know what you mean, and honestly, it just kind of came out that way. It wanted to have that energy. I started writing it in sound check on tour, and I had the first verse and the first three lines and the chords and the melody for ages, and it just, I probably it's probably slightly slower when I was jamming it in sound check, and then when I took it to studio, I kind of beat it up a bit because I felt that was right for it. But I wanted to have that kind of intense, I flew all the way out to Tacoma, that fast kind of roll for the
yeah,
vocals, like bounce along and not get sludgy.
yeah. It's something that is very uniquely you. Where like as soon as like you hear just the opening with the and you're like it's a Benjamin Francis track. It 100% is, and yeah, it's like I say, it's the song. It pulls you along. It pulls you into it, which is something that I love that you somehow can do so easily.
Thank you, man. Yeah, it is easy to get caught in very kind of low tempo, slow tempo, um, passive energies in the instrumentation of a track. And I one of the first albums I ever fell in love with a song was an album called End of History by Fionn Reagan, and there's a song on that album called Blackwater Child, and it goes dun gun dun dun gun dun gun dun gun dun gun gun. So I think that song's always subconsciously inspired me to like do, where appropriate, do stuff with a bit of pace and kind of move the fingers in a way where there's like intrigue and pace and counter rhythms within the main thing, if that
Yeah,
makes sense.
yeah, it does. So obviously, like I said, I love the album. I mean, I just love you. I mean, every track you've ever released, I do. But what was the easiest song for you to write on the album, and what is your current favorite, and what is the one you're most looking forward to playing live?
I think the easiest songs, like in terms of time and how they kind of flowed out of me, were Tired in Niagara, which was done in an hour and a half in Niagara when I was tired and very kind of sad and lonely. And isolated. I kind of wrote 75% of it in my hotel room and then took it to my bandmate, knocked on his door probably at 11 at night. We'd had a day off driving across the border into Canada, and we finished it and recorded it. It was written and recorded within 2 or 3 hours, the version you hear, bar the mix.
Yeah.
That was emotionally, it wasn't easy to write. It's obviously a really very intense, sad song. And the other song that was quick was Canary in a Coal Mine. I wrote 70% of it, sat outside on a bench outside the Dirty Hit studio in April 2019, and I was in a relationship in sobriety for the first time, and it was really about that feeling of being in love for the first time, but also like how dangerous that can be for a person in recovery if they start thinking that their recovery is dependent on the relationship or the person they're with.
Mm.
And what was the second part of the question? I know what the third part was.
So I've got to try and remember it now as well. So we had easiest song to write. One that you're most looking forward to playing live.
Yes. Oh my God, please! I've already played it a few live. Like I really love that song. It's really intense, and I love singing in my low register. I'd say "Oh My God, Please" or "Tired of Niagara" probably.
Yeah.
I think the kind of venues I play, they'll work. There was another there was a
Then
second question.
favorite track on the album.
Um, I don't really have favorites. If I had to pick, gun to my head. I know you don't have a gun to my head, but
Oh wait there actually.
I know you would never do that. Probably "Oh My God, Please."
Yeah, that does seem to be one of the fan favorites as well.
Yeah, I really love that song, and it helps me. It helps me when I sing it. So
Yeah. So obviously we've got the tour lined up as well. Obviously the album's out now as well. It's kind of you just got the tour. Is that all you're focusing on at the moment? Have you got anything else that you've been working on behind the scenes, or is it just we've got the tour and then we'll see what happens from there?
yeah, we've got the tour, which I'm really excited for, and can't wait to get out and play again. And we're going to bring some amazing new artists with us. God willing, the tour will extend it as well and go further afield. I wouldn't say I'm even working on the tour at the moment. About a week or two before the tour, I'll probably really start locking in on set list and playing the songs over and feeling that out. And behind the scenes, I write with other artists every day. With different artists. So I spend most of my days writing songs with artists and friends of mine. I'm always creating and always thinking of new music, and I'm on a wave at the moment where that's flowing, and my experience is that wave is not always moving. So while it is moving, I want to surf it to the best of my ability, because I know there'll be a lull. I'm due a lull at some point.
Yeah. So who are you currently working with at the moment? Like you said, you've got new artists that you're gonna bring on tour as well. Is there anyone that we should be keeping an ear out for?
Working with Holly Humberston, which is great. She's a star,
Yeah.
an incredible songwriter. Um, a new artist called Lexi Berg, who just put out a song last week that we did called "Helpless to Help You." An artist called Molly Payton, who's incredible. I forget who I'm working with, man. Gabe Coulter, who's incredible. Um, a new lady called Rosie. Something just fell down in my kitchen. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
I don't know what it was. A new artist called Rosie. Me and Tom Adele are working with her, which is really nice to be reacquainted with Tom, and she's incredible. A new guy called Bo on Dirty Hit, an artist called Bo. He's wonderful. Worked with Biba Doobie the other week, which was sick. She's incredible. I
I
love
love
her.
Biba Doobie. She is just a pocket of energy.
She's so great, man. She's so nice and so talented, and I was lucky to get to learn from her and her friend Jacob. Um, Yeah, many more as well. Some like um, yeah, just a whole mix of stuff. A few things that I probably shouldn't mention because I don't like step on people's toes. You know what I
No.
mean?
Yeah, yeah,
I wrote a song with James Blunt on Zoom the other day that was fun. He's so nice. He's such a nice guy, man. But yeah, few other things in the cooker, you know. But
yeah,
just a whole like so that's a real wide mix, right? Just
yeah,
different kinds of people. There's a great new artist called Berwin that I did a song with. He's really amazing. I learned lots from him and just all kinds of people, man. I love anyone playing music. I love.
yeah. See, has obviously with the lockdowns and everything, and obviously everything moving on to Zoom, like you said, just you wrote a song with James Blunt over Zoom. Has it almost made it easier to collaborate with some people that maybe you wouldn't have before? Because A, there's more time, and B, like the technology's kind of there.
Yeah, definitely for work to work with people who live abroad or in the States, it's made it possible. And I think at first everyone was like, "Oh, we're not going to be writing on Zoom. Surely not. It's a bit weird." But people kind of took to it, and I probably wrote my best song of the year so far on Zoom with my friend Josh in York. And it weirdly allows you to be really focused and really just it focused on the song, you know, just like staring each other down and getting into the song. So it's definitely weird, especially if you don't know someone, but some great songs have been written on Zoom for sure. And it's, you know, it's opened up opportunities to write with people who might not have been in the UK or, you know, and I haven't, any Zoom session I've done hasn't lasted more than 3.5, 4 hours. So I like the intensity of it.
Yeah, it's a strange thing because obviously it's like horrendous what we've been going through, but a lot of people have taken steps and the opportunities to do things that maybe we couldn't have done before, which is great to hear that you've been able to do that and also just use your creative and ride that wave as you said and just keep that bubble going in it and expanding it as well with more people.
Thank you. Yeah, I try and, you know, I'm have been very lucky and privileged in my life, you know, through music and circumstances, even before I had some success in the music industry. So I definitely haven't felt the squeeze of the pandemic as much as billions of other people have. But emotionally and spiritually and physically even it's definitely been tough
Yeah,
and isolating and did awful things to relationships and yeah it's just it's been difficult, you know. It's definitely been a strange silly time, but
yeah,
I have hope, you know, and I have faith that there will be a silver lining to all of this, whether it's in our lifetime or not. I don't know, but I know that the universe is good. I know that creative intelligence is good. I know that Mother Nature is good, and I know that you know, the beauty of the earth will never will is there and will replenish itself in its time, not in my time.
yeah. No, I think that's the perfect way to end it as well. That there is hope, and I'm very hopeful that we're going to be getting back to things soon. Um, and whilst we've got an amazing album from you, we've got a tour to look forward to. Hopefully, some more dates as well when things get moving again. Because at the moment, it's still quite difficult to really plan too much because things can always chop and change. But thank you always, Ben, for coming on the show and spending the time with me because absolutely adore speaking to you. Love your music, and yeah, it's always a pleasure. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Lovely to see you. God bless you.
Uh, See you later, Ben. Thank you.
Bye.